Maybe I should preface this video by saying that there's a rant somewhere in here, but there's a lesson that goes along with it. I mean, I'm not that old and wise, but this is a pretty good one. The term, if you want anything right, do it yourself, is spot on. And I've always kind of been a passive person, nothing really bothered me, and I never really got, OCD about anything. Maybe that's not the right term. I never got really anal about, what other people do. But, the way my dad raised me and working on things, if you're going to do something, do it once and do it right, even if you have to, stop and back up and redo it. Redo a small part. Everybody else's mentality is, oh yeah, well, you say, this is supposed to be square like this, and somebody will say, well, it's close. Well, yeah, it's close, but no! It's not how it's supposed to be. I mean, if I put a door in your house and there's an inch gap in it, in the wintertime it's freezing cold, you're gonna say, hey, why didn't you make my door so it closes? And I say, well, it's close. That just doesn't cut it. All of that applies if somebody else is building your home. I was lucky enough to have the knowledge of some of this construction work beforehand, so I didn't have to learn it, but it's probably a good idea to learn all this stuff yourself so that you can kind of double check what these workers are doing, because they don't care. They just want to do it as fast as possible, get it done good enough, and then move on to the next one. And I understand they can't spend all day on something, because sooner or later it's going to start costing them money, but it'd be good for everyone to do everything correctly. I was out of town for work, and during that time the guys that were building the house both insulated and drywalled the whole thing. So I couldn't see what was in the, I came back, I couldn't see what was in the walls. I didn't have a chance to inspect the insulation before the drywall went up. So, I thought, okay, well, the first winter, one of the rooms was super cold. The rest of the house was fine. This room was freezing. So I thought, okay, well, there's no insulation somewhere. Now, I remember them doing insulation in the garage. This room was over the garage, so I thought, okay, well, usually rooms over the garage are kind of cold, but that's fine. But this room was right above the garage, and then the closet for this room was right above the doorway, the entrance for the front door. So that room was so brutally cold, I had to prove to the developer that there was no insulation in there. So what I ended up doing is going into the closet of that room, pulling up the carpet, cutting the plywood off of the floor, prying up the nails and the glue, and peeking in, and sure enough, there was zero insulation between the outdoor and the indoor portion right above the front door. So it just goes to show, you got to be on top of these guys, because they're going as fast as they can. They might forget one little thing like that. Oh, thank God. Then in another instance, I wired a security camera to the front door, or I ran wire to the front door so that I could run a security camera there. And when they finished that portion, the idiots smashed and wrecked the cable. So it's just completely useless. So then I had to go through the exercise. They smashed it like 3/4 of the way through. So I was hooking everything up, hooked the camera up to the switch, which injects power into it. Power! Trying to connect to the camera with its IP, and then looking back, okay, well, it's it's not detecting that. I don't see what's happening. So I had to take it out and test it, and then, well, is it the camera? And then is it the software? And then I said, well, it can't be the cable. I ran that myself. Well, some idiot came back and smashed it, wrecked the cable. And it's just, people don't care what they're doing. unless it's theirs. Unless they're doing it for themselves. Sometimes they don't even care when they're doing it for themselves. Well, I said I was going to try and figure out some way to sign off. I wish I could ride around and make videos all day, but I'm a busy man. I got hands to kiss and babies to shake. Con, changing visors takes forever. Pro, I can see. You know, you gotta weigh the good and the bad.